Good evening, all, and welcome to the ManCave live stream. I'm your host, Liam, and join me, my band of rebels in the fight against the Empire. I'm with Andy.
Hey,
And of course, I'm with Mike.
Hiya.
There we go. Technical problems aside, hopefully Mike will join us for the entire stream tonight. How you guys been? How you guys doing? What's up?
pretty good. Yeah, hanging in there.
Andy, you had a week off.
Slow weekend. Yeah.
Slow weekend?
Yep.
Okay. Oh, well, yeah, you
Gearing
didn't
up for Christmas.
Gearing up for Christmas. Oh, yeah, man, Christmas is here, isn't it? It's, tis the season.
Nearly. I haven't bought all the presents yet, so yeah, chipping away at that.
No, I cheat a little bit. My wife gets most of them. My wife gets those, and I give her a half, and then I concentrate on hers and other few key family members like my mum. So yeah, it's a cop out, I know, but hey, you got to focus. Your attention.
So my family's actually out of the country for a week, so I've been home alone.
You've been home alone?
I have, yeah.
Are you in your dressing gown?
Traps for Joe Pesci.
Are you in? Have you been spending a lot of time in a dressing gown in your own filth?
I have indeed, yes, and in a cardigan.
There you go.
And all that.
Do
you know what? Do you know what I have been doing? I've got to share this. It's something which I've found out about only a few days ago. Are you guys familiar with ASMR?
ASMR. No.
Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response.
Okay, I've heard that term, but
yeah, right. Yeah. It's I don't know if you've ever experienced this. It's one of those things where you probably always experienced to yourself and thought, oh, it's probably just me being weird. But actually, I found out it's an actual thing where if you hear a noise that you like, usually a whisper or sort of like a mundane noise, like the turning of a page or something, or like something crackling, it provides this little tingling sensation that goes down your spine, and it helps you relax. And there are videos for this on YouTube that allow you to fall asleep easier. So I've been listening to that a lot the past few days.
Oh, okay. Have you been having trouble sleeping then?
Yeah, because I'm all alone and I'm afraid of the dark, Liam.
Oh, God, what a girl.
But you know what's the amazing thing though?
My wife's...
Yep.
Oh, no, go on.
No, I was saying, like, usually these videos, though, there's also something needs to be said. Usually they're done by girls, and they usually do this kind of thing where literally they go, "Hey, it's me. I've got a few triggers for you."
Oh, that's so creepy! Stop it, Mike.
I know, and if I do, it's creepy. If a girl does it, it's quite nice. And but then, of course, it gets misused for sexual purposes, and that's not the point of it at all.
By you, I'm presuming.
Yeah, right.
It's like, dude, you're in the house on your own. I mean, I think you've gone to a new level. I would have just been happy with, well, I've just watched tons of porn, far more than I need to. Now you've gone to an autonomous response porn. It's like, okay, that's just creepy.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. We'll include a link on the video on YouTube.
Yeah. Next, you'll be using like a picture of your significant other to masturbate to. I mean, that's just creepy. That's the next step to creepiness.
Just like our ManCave has ventured into our hard R.
Right. That's why we're not in your ManCave.
This weird segment of the podcast has been brought to you by.
We're now sponsored by Autonomous Response YouTube channels. Get them here. Now with free attachments.
To get subscribers, we'll do what we have to do.
Oh, God. Whore ourselves out for subscribers to do that. But, well, at least you've got a little bit of company, at least for 45 minutes anyway.
Exactly,
So that's good enough. So, you didn't miss much last week, Andy. Well, actually, no, you did. You missed the game. It was basically a gaming-dominated
special
stream. Yeah. I know. We decided to go gaming on us because I had to review Doom. I reviewed Doom, and Mike did Alien Isolation, and then we went a bit of retro. We went into first gaming experiences and stuff. So I think we'll revisit that. Yeah, I think it's time to revisit that kind of stuff a little bit now and again.
Did you guys talk about Titanfall at all and the multiplayer on that?
Well, we didn't. I mean, we talked about it a little bit. It's just because you were still on the campaign by then, so I'm still the only one that's been playing the multiplayer. So
I've started playing the multiplayer now, and it is awesome. Yeah, it's so good.
I was wondering whether you guys would make the crossover out of the campaign and get as much enjoyment, because the multiplayer is where the meat is. That's where that game. That's where that game lives.
I'm afraid.
Yeah,
we need to do a stream. I was half gonna suggest yesterday that we just stream us three playing Titanfall tonight, but we'll maybe do that
too. But why don't we do that? Why don't we think about doing that? This might not work for you. I don't know, but this weekend,
I'm out of the country this weekend. I'm afraid.
Saturday evening. Well, that's just a lame excuse, isn't it?
I know.
We'll have a think about it. We've got with the date.
I'm out of the country, guys, and I need, in order to access online, I need to play it from this country, right?
No.
What you mean through your PlayStation remote?
I'm pulling your leg on.
Right.
I know you can play online from anywhere in the world, in theory. It's the World Wide Web, after all.
Well, you can actually log on to a PC and play your PlayStation remotely through a PC.
You can.
I can?
It's really good.
Oh, wow.
So you can use your laptop
yeah,
to stream from your PC sitting at home in your living room. I would probably suggest cabling that in because our previous successes with your wireless, but you can actually do that. So that, you know.
I just don't see it happening with the connection in Italy is even worse than the one I've got here, believe me or not.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't work from Italy, I don't think. Like that sort of distance.
Just do it next week. It's all right. I'll be here next week.
Yeah, well. Okay, we will plan something because we were up front. We have got, by the way, just while I remember it, if you're playing Titanfall out there, you're watching this, there is a Titanfall network both on PC and on PS4. It's called ManCave Titans. It has the link to the show on it here, and yeah, it's for all you guys that you know, anybody that watches this. Just, you know, go on there if you're on PS4 or PC and join the ManCave network. The I think the happy hour for it is 11 o'clock on PC and 10 o'clock on PS4. So if you're going to get your merits for the day, your special merit hour, then yeah, do it for ManCave Titans at those times. And yeah, and we'll all be playing on there. I'm playing on the PS4 and PC. I've just hit level 21, so I'm quite happy about that. But yeah, it's great new level. The new level's absolutely brilliant as well. Angel 24/7, sweet new level that got released last weekend.
Oh, yeah, I'm playing that. It's good.
It's so good. Right, well, that is very cool, and we will be expanding upon that. But let's get to our first review. Mike, you're itching to go, and your connection looks pretty sturdy at the moment. Famous last words. So we're going to start with you, my friend. What do you got for us?
All right, I'm going to talk about a character which I don't see mentioned often enough. I'm talking about a Marvel character. I'm talking about MoonKnight, created by Doug Mensch and Don Perlin, who's a creation from the mid-70s. And he was pretty much a reflection of the New York City at the time. He's very gritty, grim, dark, just not a pretty place. It's the New York from Taxi Driver, basically. And he's MoonKnight is a bit of a C-list character in a way, and only usually hardcore Marvel fans are pretty much up to date with his backstory. I'm not. I've only started reading up on him this past year. And who's MoonKnight? MoonKnight is he's Mark Spector. He's a mercenary who, after a botched mission in Egypt, he, with his last, dying breath, he turns to the statue of the Egyptian moon god called Khonshu, and he becomes the avatar for this moon god. So he's brought back to life, and his strength derives from the different phases of the moon cycle. So if it's a full moon, he will be powered to the max. And he's the thing about MoonKnight, there's been a lot of criticism leveled at that character for his similarities to Batman, because he is pretty much Marvel's answer to Batman. They share a lot in common, like they're both caped vigilantes. They've both got, as if Batman's got sort of like bat-themed boomerangs, MoonKnight's got moon-themed gadgets and all that. He's got a moon copter, so Batman's got the Batwing. MoonKnight's even got sort of like a chauffeur slash butler, French butler, who reminds readers a lot of Alfred from the DC comics. However, Marvel's very aware of the similarities of his character, and they've employed a lot of clever tactics and plot twists over the years to try and distance the character from Batman. And the most interesting thing about Moon Knight is that he's got DID, dissociative identity disorder. So that means he's not got one alter ego, he's actually got multiple alter egos. Because he's got 3 that he usually rotates through, because he actually has dissociative identity disorder. So depending on the comic, he'll either be Mark Spector, who's the former mercenary turned Moon Knight, or he'll be Jake Lockley, who's a New York cab driver, or Stephen Grant, who's a millionaire, very much styled a bit like Bruce Wayne. And he's sometimes he's not even Moon Knight. Recently, Warren Ellis introduced another alter ego called Mr. Knight. So he's a vigilante dressed in a white suit, white shirt, white tie, and a white mask. And he assists the police with investigations and things like that. And Brian Michael Bendis a few years ago, he had a short run on that with this character, and did this brilliant thing where Moon Knight seems like throughout the comic he's talking to Captain America, Spider-Man, and Wolverine, but actually turns out that they're figments of his imagination.
Okay.
So with all of this, all this multiple personality disorder going on, this leads us to the most recent run by Jeff Lemire on which is called Lunatic, and it takes the character. Sorry, just a second. Thought that was my pizza. Basically, the run starts with the character waking up in an insane asylum, and all the characters around him saying, what's all this about Moon Knight? You're not a superhero. You've been in here for years. Things like that. And so actually it becomes clear right from page 1 that, or maybe not page 1, but a few pages in, that Mark Spector and Moon Knight is being used as a conduit into the very delicate world of mental illness and institutionalization when it comes to that. So, and Marvel are very... Sorry, yeah?
I'm about to say, I'm a little bit confused with this, because I've seen this character in Batman Arkham City.
No.
Did they do a crossover?
No, he looks a lot like Azrael, but it's...
So DC have got their own version of this.
So the guy who created Moon Knight, Doug Munch, he is... he used to work on Batman quite a lot, and he worked at it very much at the time of the Nightfall storyline, which had Azrael involved in it. So it wouldn't surprise me if there's wouldn't surprise me if there's a connection there from why.
Yeah,
maybe.
I see. Sorry, my mistake. I just remember seeing this character, and I was just like, that looks so familiar. Yeah.
It's the hood, isn't it? That sort of thing, yeah.
Fact is, though, like Marvel has always used characters as a means to explore certain themes. Like they've used Spider-Man to explore sort of like adolescence and the shock of puberty as well. They've used Iron Man to explore alcoholism, and they've used Captain America to explore the the weird forms that patriotism takes over the years. And they use MoonKnight pretty much for instead tackling mental health, I would say, in that sense. And
even more than Deadpool, who's clearly
Deadpool. Deadpool is a bit like the Bugs Bunny of the Marvel universe. He is a walking punchline all the time. He's really cool character, but MoonKnight, like they do it with the tact that it deserves. They don't always get it right, but I think the intentions in place are noble and in place. But this run here, it's not just about the writing, about the character, also the art. Like I've included some images. Like Greg Smallwood's art in this run is something to behold. I mean, it's at times it's eerie, at other times it's oddly psychedelic, and other times it's even majestic. There's one panel which shows the character emerging from the asylum, and he looks at a landscape of New York that's mixed with Cairo. So you have New York half submerged in sand and pyramids poking out as well around it. And it's really something incredible to behold, I must say. And the thing about MoonKnight, I think there's something about the character that attracts both the best authors in the business, like Daredevil. The character attracts the best authors and gets the best out of them. You've had Brian Michael Bendis do a really good, underrated run on the character a few years ago. Warren Ellis has done something 2 years ago, and now Jeff Lemire is doing this. And it's also, like Daredevil, a character that's best left alone to his own devices. Whenever I see Daredevil pop up or MoonKnight pop up in the Avengers, they look a bit lost in there. These characters belong in their own world in the shadows, and they work so much better because of that.
Right, okay. Brilliant. So MoonKnight, there's another superhero I didn't realise.
Yeah.
Batman's superhero.
Yeah, yes. I'll be right back. Anyway, I've done
Papa John's. Papa John's at the door. Thank you, Michael. Enjoy your pizza. So yeah, that sounds pretty cool. That looks like an interesting one. I wonder if there will be a spin-off. Do you think he's mainstream enough, Andy, to get his own movie? Seems like every Marvel character is at the moment.
I think not. I'm just
Netflix TV show.
I don't know. Well, I suppose he's sort of similar kind of level to Iron Fist.
Okay,
that kind of level of fame, and he's got his own TV series.
Yeah, it sounds like it sounds like he's got a bit of meat with the mental health thing. It's very kind of niche at the moment. It's very very in trend at the moment to actually mention mental health and kind of struggles. Seems like there might be a little bit more of a interesting dynamic there that they could explore. So who knows?
Yeah, maybe. I haven't really thought about it, but possibly.
Possibly. Who knows?
Possibly.
Well, anyway, that was Mike's. Well, while he's munching away on his pizzas, we are not endorsed by Papa John's, by the way. We didn't receive these pizzas as a gift or a bribe to mention them on the studio. Him showing the box isn't helping, but we'll continue with the second review of the night. Andy, what have you got for us, buddy?
Okay, so and I've only read the first storyline of this, so it's not a complete review of the total series, but here we go. It's Why the Last Man. So, and that's why it's in the letter. There we go. There's the image for it. Yeah. And it's written by Brian K. Vaughan. Has also done Runaways for Marvel. What's the other one? Saga recently, which is really, really brilliant. And I might talk about another day. Mm-hmm. And he was also a writer on Lost as well. Although the less said about that, the better.
Yeah.
But this is a really, really interesting premise for this series. So what it's about is the world is going along, normally. then all of a sudden there's a massive virus across the world, and all of the men and all of the male Y chromosome mammals across the world suddenly die. So there are no men and no male animals left in the world, and basically it's only this guy and his pet monkey who somehow, for some reason, survived. And there's a whole mystery surrounding that, why he survived, and he's got to go on a journey to find his fiance, who's all the way in Australia. And the best way that I can describe it is a crossover between kind of Buffy and a little bit of the Walking Dead in terms of the post-apocalyptic nature. All of the women are in control, so there's this Amazon feel to everything, and the women are really starting to, say, well, we didn't need men in the first place, did we? Clearly we're better off without them. We've got absolutely no need for them. Cloning starts to come into play in the storyline, so they've got no need for them to reproduce, and things start to get going in terms of getting the animals to reproduce. So there's food. And basically, it's just a really, really fascinating story. And this guy who's totally out of place in this new world order, and wherever he is, he's an outsider. It's absolutely fascinating.
What I like about the thing that is that they spell very early on. They say a man left alone in a world full of women is no joking or laughing matter. They actually make it quite scary, I think.
It sounds like quite a scary concept. Well, yeah, just as you said that, I was like, oh no.
Well, hey, last man on earth with all the women. Where do I sign up? And actually, I think they pointed out very early on, saying like, don't think that you safe or in control here like that. And some of them are quite scary. I think the women he comes across, the different tribes he comes across.
But it is a really funny series as well. My favourite bit so far is I haven't read that much of it, to be honest, but it's just on my mind right now. And my favourite bit of it so far is when they go to basically they're just about to leave Washington. They're there for a reason I won't go into. And he's going along with this kind of bodyguard person, and she says, well, they built a memorial to all of the men who've died. And he goes, oh, where is it? And he goes, and she just goes, guess. And then in the distance, there's the Washington Monument, just looking like a massive penis.
Rounded off.
It hasn't been rounded off or anything, but it's just there. But this is like, okay, fair enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
It's really, really good.
Oh, excellent. So how far are you into that series then?
Oh, I'm only about 5 issues into it. It's 60 issues long, so
60
I
issues.
don't know. Yeah, I don't know quite what happens at the end.
Yeah, was it?
2002 to 2008.
Okay.
So it's pretty old, comparatively speaking. Not that I like to think that stuff like that is old, but it is, sadly. And yeah, it's kind of a product of that kind of Buffy and that kind of indie way of thinking that they used to be back in the late 90s, early 2000s, that you really don't get anymore. It's a byproduct of that, which is quite interesting. I am getting quite nostalgic for that kind of stuff as well, which is why I've been watching Gilmore Girls, which is kind of in the same field. Yeah,
it is. Well, it's kind of it's almost like short story fiction, isn't it?
Yeah.
Kind of like, the one-liners, like the Buffy kind of thing. I mean, the template for Buffy has now been regurgitated into big money series such as True Blood and Vampire Diaries. And so you've got those kind of almost cookie cutter formulas which go out there, which is when something fresh and new comes along, it makes you appreciate it even more. So this sounds quite interesting. A man and his monkey.
Man, there's
In a world full of women.
In a world full of women, a man just needs a monkey.
Do we want to talk? Yeah. Do we want to talk about the
it.
often aborted film adaptation?
The what?
No, I don't know about that.
You don't know. It's been stuck in development hell for ages.
I think I did hear about that. Yeah. Go on. Sorry.
Shia LaBeouf as the main character.
Okay, well, put that on hold.
Yeah.
Yep, keep that shit on hold. Anything with Shia LaBeouf needs to be on hold.
It's going to be a TV series now, apparently.
It probably would work better as a TV series, to be honest.
Guys, everything's a fucking TV series now. I'm not even lying. It's just everything's a TV show. It's that there is no money in film anymore. By the scene, you know, if a film, there's such a dice roll on whether a film is going to make its money back at the cinema at the moment that I think everybody's just going heavy in TV. Knock out one series and you know, and there's great TV out there. I mean, there's so good TV with the on-demand system. I never thought the technology of an on-demand system would extend the quality of TV. I never thought that. I thought it'd be on-demand films. I thought it'd be interactive films, interactive things. I never thought that it would actually give people that medium back, and which it has, because you've got the, you know, watch whenever you want type scenario. You've got time. You can, you know, make time for your series.
It's the popularity of box sets, you know, DVD box sets, which made this possible. You know.
Yeah, I mean the box sets were the first notion, but then they've sorted out the streaming aspect and the play again. So that leaves people. I mean, but box sets are now available digitally.
Yeah, of course.
So
I'm saying, like, without the popularity of box sets, I don't think people who were in the streaming business said, "Hang on a sec, guys, we're onto something here." Like that.
We hope those. I mean, it was compression algorithms that kind of, you know, back when I was trying to compress DVD movies down to kind of like 2 750 meg CDs, and you were using compression algorithms, and it all started, and then that's just gone to a level now where you can actually stream it straight down your internet line. So, yeah, it is kind of it. But yeah, we're getting off topic a little bit. But saying that, a little segue. I've watched some TV recently.
Oh, what have you watched?
I have been watching the Netflix series, and I'll bring up an image of it so you guys can see what I'm talking about, which I'm enjoying quite a lot.
The Crown?
The Crown, yes. I am enjoying The Crown, yes. I don't care. I have been watching The Crown for the past few weeks on Netflix. The story, for those of you who don't know, it is the story of the Queen, the royal family, and how I think they're going to take it all the way up to modern day, but it starts off with our former king. And yes, it just, I don't know. I didn't expect to like it as much as I do. I'm going to be honest. Can
I ask you a question before you go on?
Yeah.
Completely respecting the fact that it might well be a good series, and Empire have listed it as one of the best series of this year, so there's perfectly good grounds, you know, for that claim. But did you start watching this because your wife wants to watch it?
No, I actually wanted to watch it. I actually told my wife about it.
Yeah.
Because I saw it advertised. You know, I was quite... like I said, there were some good reviews of it and stuff, but I am, you know, I do like the royal family. I wouldn't say I'm a crazy royalist, but all my family are quite, you know, we like the royal family, and you know, it's kind of, the country's a bit split of what they could do, but I like the fact that, you know, we've got a royal family, and indeed that we've got the heritage of kings, queens, and all the mistakes they made previously. There's an incredible amount of momentum with series at the moment, such as Wolf Hall, which was the story of Henry VIII, and there's a number of other things like the story of Victoria and stuff like that. This is all good historical stuff, which I find fascinating, really. So there's a lot of momentum for it. But just to go back on this series, I mean, it stars Claire Foy, who plays the Queen Elizabeth II. She's in the set. She's in there. That is her. You can see a familiar face in the background there. That is Matt Smith.
And his jawline.
Who amazingly plays a very good Prince Philip. It's you kind of really just, oh right, he's got the mannerisms. He's obviously studied the way he moves and things like that quite a lot. So you've got those the main characters. You've also got some other interesting characters that actually pop up in there. John Lithgow, who's playing Winston Churchill, which it does sort of work in places, but Winston Churchill was a tiny little, a short little stubby man. John Lithgow is a huge, tall, lanky guy, and it doesn't really do it, but it does not a bad job in it. The dialogue is very good. Obviously, there are a lot of events that are dramatized. It's playing almost the Game of Thrones card in internal family struggle and what the crown represents and what kind of show you need to put on for it. Like I said, sorry, I'm actually sharing the wrong thing there. Like I said, Claire Foy does very well playing the Queen. John Lithgow, Matt Smith. There is also the main director, the creator, director, and writer of it is Peter Morgan. Now, Peter Morgan directed, wrote and directed a West End play called The Audience, which starred Helen Mirren, and it was a series of. I actually saw this. I saw this on the NT Live. It was a series of audiences that she had with that the Queen would have with former prime ministers. And it was just them in a room having a conversation, and it would go through all the generations because she's had about 7 prime ministers in the time that she's been on the throne. Some of them memorable, some of them not very memorable, and all the different interactions that she's had with them at different points in her reign, and I felt that it portrayed the Queen in a very real light, as a very real person, as the Queen film did with Helen Mirren at the time of Princess Diana's death. It kind of, the same as the King's Speech did as well. It humanised the monarchy, and I think that I know this is playing upon that a little bit to get the figures in. The kind of like the sassy interactions between her and Princess Margaret. Princess Margaret, by the way, played by a very sexy actress indeed, who kind of like really relays the total opposites that these two were as characters. There is Philip being the kind of very human, as just like he's not just a quiet concubine or whatever it is, companion in the background. He is a real bloke that had his own ambitions and stuff, and he's kind of shackled to it. It paints in a very real light. It's a very entertaining series. I've almost finished the first season, and I think I've got one more to go. Historically, it is really teaching me something. It really is. There's some really fascinating things that happen in it, and if you want a bit of a lesson in British history, I mean, it has taught me so much about the abdication. There was a fog crisis in 1953. Did you know that there was a fog crisis in 1953 where we lost like 6,000 people, just died.
Yeah, because of fog. Because the smog kind of got diffused, doesn't it, in the atmosphere, and it was actually to coal and smog, and it was toxic to breathe. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know the
absolutely.
exact. Yeah, I knew of the crisis.
Yeah, but the thing was, it kind of it features that as an episode, and the Met Office actually says to Winston Churchill, this is a problem with the pressure and everything like that. What you're going to do is you're going to get a fog cloud that's of toxic gas, and it will really mess up the country unless we do something about it. No, they've got to keep burning coal. Don't worry about it. It came, and it was chaos. And it was just like, and I was like, wow, it was like that. And my aunt and uncle were just like, yeah, it was like that. We kind of, we were around during it then. It was terrible times.
How long did it last?
Sorry?
How long did it last?
3 days.
Oh, 3 days. Gosh. Okay.
It lasted 3 days. So for 3 days, London was completely submerged in fog. Like you could not see 6 feet in front of you. People got run over by buses. People had to go into hospital. The NHS was completely overrun with people with almost monoxide poisoning from all the coal. Horrible business. Really was. Had no idea about it, and like I said, you got the political ups and downs as well. Are all happening at the same time. So I would say it's pretty compulsive viewing, even if you're not a royalist. I would say that if you ever got any interest in our own history and how events happened, I think it is very good to watch and very entertaining. Done brilliantly by Netflix, directed very well by Peter Morgan and Hans Zimmer. Hans Zimmer did he done the theme and he's done the score. So he's. I was surprised they pulled it out. As many. They obviously spent something ridiculous like $100 million.
$100 million. It is the most expensive TV show that Netflix has. Rather, the most expensive budget Netflix has committed to from the start. The Get Down turned out more expensive, but it wasn't supposed to be as expensive as it got. Whereas The Crown instead were like, we'll sign off $100 million right off the bat, and a second season. That is quite. And
it is, and I tell you what, it's got very good reviews, and I think quite rightly so. It's
well spent.
And not only that, in half keep a lot of the British acting, the British acting community going, because everybody's in this.
More than Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones, I swear to God, I think it's like jury service. You just wait for the letter and it comes in, right? I've got to go and
well, they can switch in between the two, you see. Yeah. I think this has got a lot of people.
Just on the Game of Thrones point, literally it's Peter Dinklage, I think, that's American. That's about it. Otherwise, they're all European or British,
Yeah, I think. I can't think of it. I can't think of anybody that's not. Well, the Queen. No, she British. She British or American?
Cersei. She's English.
Is she? Yeah, I'd like to see. Jared Harris was in this as well. Richard Harris's son plays Moriarty in the Sherlock Holmes movies as well. He played King George VI and very well. I'd always like seeing him in stuff. So give it a look by all means. It's very good. It gets you googling. Any series that gets me googling, like about historical events, is a good one, because did that actually happen? Like, and you start googling and you start going, oh, what did that person really look like? And all this just makes you very excited about finding out more about the past. And I think it's part of our heritage to actually know stuff like that. It's very good. So cool. Well, that was my review. I would give that I'd give that pretty a 4. Definitely a 4. It's not perfect because there is a lot of there's a lot of dramatized stuff in there. There's certain things that are just like I don't think the royal family would have signed off on that. I can't.
I wouldn't judge a TV series based on its historical accuracy as long as it's got good writing. That's
but the thing is, some of it was like crowbarred in.
If it stretches credulity even within the reality of the TV show, then yes, that's a bad thing.
Yeah, there is
what the characters have been through before. you're like, wait a minute, within the show, that character wouldn't do that, then yeah, that is bad, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there is Alex Jennings plays the Duke of Windsor, who is he abdicated the throne, and he plays a character which is more interested in partying than it, and he hates his family for kind of kicking him out. He turns to Mrs. Simpson, who he's with one time, while they're sitting in their bed in Paris smoking a cigarette, and just turns to her and just goes, "Wanna fuck?" And I'm like, I don't know whether they're kind of. I'm not too sure. I don't know whether that's needed. Those kind of things.
Fancy a Rogering?
Yeah, well, I don't know. Just a little bit more discreet than that, maybe. But it's just
fancy a rom.
Yeah. That's what they'll get. Maybe they'll go into the just they'll open season 2 with just someone just getting done doggy style, and that's just like, oh, we're in Game of Thrones again. Here we go.
Yay.
Oh, yay, Roger in.
You know what? I'll make it very quick, so it's too hilarious because it actually ties in with this. Friends of ours wanted to try to start watching Game of Thrones, so they watched the first episode of Game of Thrones, and then they accidentally, instead of watching episode 2 of Game of Thrones, they watched episode 2 of The Tudors, and they were convinced it was the same show.
Really?
And they carried on for a few episodes. I wonder when the dwarf is showing up again. Like that. Someone had to point out to him saying, "You're not watching the same show."
Oh God, that's
I know.
Good. Well, with Game of Thrones, I think Andy, you wanted to mention we did actually lose.
Yeah, we did.
A key member of the cast. Well, and a very memorable person, a member of the cast, definitely.
We did, yeah. So he's the guy who played Maester Aemon up at Castle Black by the Wall. So Peter Vaughan, who's 93 and sadly recently passed away today, I think. Yeah. And he was also known as Grouty in Porridge. Grouty.
In the Roddy Barker series.
He was only in it for 3 episodes.
He was in the movie as well.
Oh, he was in the movie as well. Okay,
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. It's for me. It's I only knew him from Game of Thrones really, but he's one of the people in that series that's quite special because he really embodied the character in a way that others haven't so much with their characters. So, from the book to screen translation is always a challenge, no matter what, film or TV series you're doing. And for him, he really nailed that character. And I guess that was also helped by the fact that he was playing a blind character and he himself was partially sighted. There is that element, but it's good casting at the end of the day. But he so embodied that character in every way that you read, his lines on the page. He was just so well embodied. He's supposed to be like 120 years old in the book or something. So that kind of came across as well. I think in the TV series.
I mean, good on him, and still working.
He really was.
Craft at 93, was he? 93 years old?
93 years old. And God knows I will not be working when I'm 93, that's for sure.
Yeah, he was in I'm just looking on IMDb there, he was in the TV version of Treasure Island back in 1968, playing Long John Silver.
Yeah, I heard on the radio that he's sort of one of these people that's always forever like middle-aged. So you'll see him from from the 50s all the way up to the 80s and 90s, basically playing a middle-aged person. Always had that look about him. So quite an interesting character actor.
Yeah. I mean, I think I've seen him in a number of things all through my childhood. I think he was in the Sweeney and lots of TV stuff. You already mentioned Porridge. He was in Fox as well, which was a TV series with Ray Winston, wasn't it? So he kind of cut his teeth in there. He was in Time Bandits. Oh man, Time Bandits! What a great movie. See, Peter Dinklage. Missed out on that one. He wasn't even probably born then.
Probably not.
Cool. So yeah, that was an honourable mention there. We've lost so many performers this year from stage and screen. It's just like when does 2016 just end?
2016 was a bit shit. Let's be honest.
2016, man. I don't know. I think I don't think I'm alone in this. I speak to people. I've had a terrible year, and I think people have been joining me on that. Just it's been terrible. It's been
personally about the terrible year, Liam.
I have, yeah. We started this channel, which has just really just finished it for me, really. So, but no, it's not been a wonderful year. So we lost a lot of people in there, but there you go. 2017's around the corner, and with it come a plethora of opportunities.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got one more group topic before we sign off.
Yeah.
And Mike is going to ask the question. Mike's pretty good at coming up with our group topics. It gets us chatty. So Mike,
guys, Star Wars spin-off. Are they a good idea or not?
Andy?
Yes. I think they are.
I say no.
Okay, all right. We'll come to you in a sec. I think they are. I think the Star Wars universe is built on spin-offs, and it always has been ever since the beginning of the franchise. Ever since you had the Ewok Treetop Adventure Christmas special,
with
and and from then on you had the comics, which for a lot of people, I was listening to a Star Wars podcast recently. It was really interesting what they were saying. It was a time when you didn't have home video. At best, you had maybe a Betamax that you might have been able to get from on bootleg or something like that. Mm-hmm. So your only resource for it was the comic books, which were an adaptation, and you would be able to reimagine the what you'd seen on screen at some horrible showing with really bad quality footage anyway. So yeah, from that perspective, Star Wars is built on spin-offs. So I think on that rationale, they are a really good thing. I think that they keep the Star Wars universe alive. I think that they keep it a bit dynamic, a little bit different. You get a director like Gareth Edwards coming along, who's able to bring his own flavour to it, and I'm really hoping that Rogue One is going to be a bit darker, a bit more mature, a bit more serious than some of the other ones, but not too serious. I hope it retains that kind of Star Wars humour, but I really hope that it gets that darkness that really, and it's really looking promising to me. Michael, what do you think?
I completely get why they're doing it, why they're doing all these spin-offs, why they're building a Star Wars expanded universe, expanded cinematic universe. We all know who we have to blame for this trend, but I do think that Episode 7 was a brilliant return to the glory days of the franchise. I thought after the prequels, that was a brilliant return to form, and I'm almost worried that now with that success they're kind of trying to get away with chucking at us as many Star Wars films as they can, and in a way, because if it were a smaller studio that's trying to capitalize and is trying to make money on it, I completely get that. But it's Disney, and Disney is not running out of money anytime soon.
Yeah, but they want to make more, don't they? Come on.
Yeah, I know, but they're like, that's the thing. You're like, oh my god, you're just this big soulless money-making machine that just keeps on churning out. Like,
but that's what they're going to do, isn't it?
I know, but I do think it's going into overdrive now. Pun the pun. But it's it really is, and it's not just Star Wars. I think also the whole Marvel Studios thing is getting out of hand too, to be honest. And I'm a big Marvel fan, and I think they're overdoing it now too, even. And I put it this way: I would hate it that Episode 8 and 9 kind of suffer from a Star Wars oversaturation, and people just say, "Oh, God, another Star Wars film." What the hell? There was that Rogue One, which I don't know whether it's going to be good or not, but if it's not good, if it turns out to be another Suicide Squad, then people are going to be, oh, shit, no, I'm not going to see that. That was rubbish, that last Star Wars film. And you feel saying, no, that was a spin-off. It's not part of the main continuity or things like that. Yeah.
Sorry, I just love the idea of you going for like a cinema audience. No, it's not part of the main
No,
continuity.
this is supposed to be good. Liam, what do you think?
Okay, so the Star Wars is a very close to my heart subject. Grew up with it. Absolutely wanted to be, part of that universe. Read the books, and Andy was very had the comic books. Then got into the extended book library, the Thrawn trilogy. These are all good storylines and good spin-offs, and I think each one of them definitely deserved its place in the canon and that fleshed out universe. It's the same when I said about the Harry Potter. It's such a good idea, and it deserves to be brought to life further. Now, you're very right, Michael, that it can actually go a little bit too far. And, with Marvel, it could go that way. But I think the way that Marvel has actually approached it, no one film is greater than the sum of its parts, if you know what I mean. Because if you look at it as a tapestry of an overarching story, like, that's going through in this universe, which is what the comic books do. They're just, they're planted all over the place. There obviously has to be kind of like a narrative running through it all for the purpose of telling the story for Marvel. But I wouldn't actually look at one film and go, you know what, that's let the series down to such a degree. I could just go, okay, but then I can always go to there. It's the same with the comic book. I might not like a comic book character that you might love, but I might love this character over here. So what they're doing is they're kind of like they're catering for many people's tastes, but that is exactly what the books did with Star Wars. And I think with them telling stories of Rogue One and things like that, there'll be guys that want dark, edgy stuff. Do you know what? There'll be a whole generation of people that won't give a shit about Rogue One because all they want to see is Rey. They only want to see the new Rey, who is the Skywalker thing. Yeah. I know my mate's, he has a little girl who's 5 years old. She will not entertain watching any other Star Wars movie or anything unless it's got Rey in it.
Yeah.
Because that's their generation, that's their gig. And I think that, you can't hold back these kind of things. Fair enough if it's a crap storyline and it's not worth it, the world's a little bit crappy, then I would probably say, look, just put it to bed. You don't need to go any further. I would say that with Transformers. I think they should shut that shit down. Shut that shit down now.
But it's making money, so
Michael Bay, just please shut it all down. Like, they just about got away with one, and then after that, my attention just went like that, straight down.
Absolutely.
Have you guys read any of the new Star Wars comics? And there have been quite a lot.
I've not.
I have read. I've read the one that followed on, and it's one of the only official ones that followed on from. I don't know if you can actually see this. There we go. There you go. Oh no!
Oh, that one. I saw it quickly. So that's the Force Awakens follow on. Yeah, that's quite good.
That's the Force Awakens. Is it the Force Awakens? No, it's not the Force Awakens follow on. It's Return of the Jedi.
From Return of the Jedi.
It's Return of the Jedi follow on A Shattered Empire. So that follows on straight after the Battle of Endor. They then have to mop up all of the Empire, what's left of the Empire, basically. And there's this kind of, I think there's this weird storyline where Luke goes after some kind of tree.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think that's going to link into the next Star Wars movie.
I think so.
Big spoiler.
But yeah, the Darth Vader series and the Star Wars main series are two of the best comic book series I've read in the last year. They're absolutely fantastic. And an example of why the Star Wars spin-offs are so important. They expand on the storyline. They give you more of what you love and what you cherish. It's so well written. I don't want to go into too many spoilers or anything, but you're really getting more films basically from those storylines.
And I did a review a while ago. I don't know if you guys had a chance. Star Wars Rebels.
Yeah, I still haven't got around to that.
It's good.
It's on my Christmas wish list. Yeah.
You got 3 seasons of it, and I'm still watching it, and there are a lot of fillers. It's a kids show, so there are a lot of fillers. But then it gives you a little hint of like, where did that character come from? I don't know where that guy's come from. I think this will very conveniently melt into Rogue One. So the stuff I'm watching at the moment is kind of like, this is really kind of like Rogue One territory.
Yeah, I think it will. Yeah.
So yeah,
I know you get more backstory and more like an extended experience in that sense, and I appreciate all of that. Where I start getting a bit cynical is if, say, I'm watching one of the films, even this goes not just for Star Wars, it goes even for the Marvel Universe, and I'm watching something, I'm like, wait, that made no sense in that context. Someone goes, well, you have to watch this other film in order for it to make sense. I'm like, no.
Yeah, but that never happens. That never really happens, does it? I mean, in the Marvel one, it does. But
it could happen in Star Wars. I'm not saying.
I started rewatching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. again.
Yeah.
And you will never see Coulson again in the main films for the very reason that he died in Avengers. And if you've only watched the films, he's still dead. He's still dead. He can't come back for the people who've only ever watched the films because it won't make any sense to them.
Yeah.
And I think you need that Star Wars does a good job of saying, okay, if you only watch the films, you will only get the content that's in the films. You don't need to read or see anything else.
Yeah. And I really hope that they stop, because I'm getting a little bit tired of the shoehorn. The prequels were totally shoehorn, absolutely every connection, every reference you got real boring, real quick. I'm like, oh great, I don't want Lando Calrissian to turn up as a younger person in Rogue One and just go, oh, it's brilliant. Or I don't want all that. I don't. He's like.
I do. I love all of that. I love it when.
I don't. There are some nods, but I just think it's corny.
Smaller, not bigger. That's the thing.
It does. You're right.
It makes it smaller, not bigger. That's the thing that aggravates me. So, like, what do you mean Darth Vader created C-3PO? You know what I mean? That kind of thing.
I'm not including the prequels in this. As far as I'm concerned, they are
dead to me.
They are dead to it. Like they don't count. They just don't.
I had to listen to someone on Facebook. Someone on Facebook the other day saying that episode 1 was better than episode 7. I was crawled up in the shower for a good while.
They actually mean episode 1, not Star Wars 1.
No, episode 1. The Phantom Menace is better than The Force Awakens.
Okay. Well, that person is obviously mad. So moving on away from mad people and their mental health issues.
That's insulting to mentally ill people. There,
that is, yeah. I bet MoonKnight wouldn't have ever said that. He wouldn't have dared. They would have locked him up and threw away the key. So, well, anyway, we should wrap up now, guys. We should. We'll let Mike digest his pizza. Papa John's pizza, nice.
It was good. I enjoy its spicy taste.
Meat feast. Or spicy Italian.
It was a double pepperoni with extra cheese.
You always got to go meat feast.
Yeah. It's spicy. I like it. Cool. All right. Well, we'll try and do something next week. We'll try and do something. Mike, are you out of the country for next week's stream? Then you are.
I'll be in the country for the stream. Don't worry.
Okay, so if we do, then I will put links in description on, as many places as I can, so that people can connect and maybe even watch our stream. We'll try and stream it on YouTube. I think that's probably the most logical thing. We do have a Twitch channel, but we haven't used it yet. So yeah, we'll try and do some things, and it'll be fun watching. I just think it's going to be hilarious watching Mike play multiplayer. He's the guy shooting the ground,
running in the corner against the rod.
Yeah, running in the corner, just getting kind of like getting teabagged by multiplayers.
I fired the winning shot in a Titan on Titan battle the other day. It was the best feeling.
It's so good, isn't it? It's so good.
Just but when you grenade face.
It's when you just go beast mode. That's when I just 1, 2, 3, and then you just get another one. Then you just right, blow up a Titan, run into my Titan, blow this one up, eject my Titan, take out 2 more pilots when you're still in midair. It's just so much fun when you get it. When it's good, it's just really good.
Yeah.
Game of the year. I feel this year it really has been for me. I think I've had most fun with this game. It's been absolutely brilliant. Right. Cool. All right then, guys. Well, take care, and thank you everybody out there for joining us, and we will see you on the next edition of ManCave. Have a good evening.
See ya.
Bye bye.